Tamil is not just a language, it is a culture, it's a civilization. The root, the source and the core of this culture and civilization is devotion, and the sthanas are the centers of this devotion which churns this devotion. In this culture, for thousands of years, is the temple which is built to a certain science. Temples became powerful means of transforming one's lives.
குழந்தை பிறந்தாலும் பிறந்த நாள்னாலும் கோவிலுக்கு போய் அந்த புது ட்ரெஸ் போட்டு கோயில்ல போய் அர்ச்சனை பண்ணிட்டு அந்த சாமி பார்த்துட்டு வர்றது, காது குத்துறது, ஒரு குழந்தைக்கு சாப்பாடு ஊட்டணும். கல்யாணம் அப்படின்னா கூட பத்திரிக்கை முதல்ல கோயில்ல போய் சாமிக்கு வைக்கிறது. யாராவது இறந்துட்டாங்கன்னா கோவில்ல போய் மோட்ச தீபம் போடணும். இந்த தெய்வத்தோட ஒரு சம்பந்தத்துல தான் எல்லாமே நடந்தது, கோவிலோட சம்பந்தத்துல தான்.
Unfortunately, today, these temples, these powerhouses, this very life center of Tamil culture is enslaved in the hands of bureaucrats and politicians who have no concern or care or involvement or devotion for these powerful centers which have been the heart of our Tamil culture. It is painful for me to see that the avarice and the greed of East India Company, which came to this land in 1700s, which decided to capture the temples in this nation, not because they were interested in the sanctity of those places, the power and the benefit of those places. They were interested in the wealth, the gold, diamonds, money and the land which the temples held. That vulgar act of taking over Indian temples, unfortunately, is continuing till today, after 74 years of independence. This is very painful, because a temple is not a place of prayer, it is the soul of this community. UNESCO, the UN agency, says the traditional temples of Tamil Nadu are in a bad state of decay.
இப்படிதான் இருக்கு. யாரும் பார்க்கறாங்க, செய்ய மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க. நாங்க செய்யறேனாலும் அனுமதி கொடுக்க மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க.
நித்தம் பூஜை கிடையாது, 2 முறை விளக்கேத்துறதுக்குள்ள கிடையாது.
பசங்கெல்லாம் இங்க கோவில் யாரும் இல்லாத நேரத்துல இங்க ட்ரிங்க்ஸ் சாப்பிடுறது அந்த மாதிரி விஷயங்கள்லாம் நடந்துட்டு இருந்துச்சு.
ஒண்ணுமே இல்ல, உள்ள நுழைஞ்சு போக முடியாது, பிரகாரத்தை வரது சுத்தி வர முடியாது.
இன்னமும் இந்த கோயில் HRNC இந்து சமய அறநிலையத்துறை கட்டுப்பாடுல இருக்கு. இந்த கோயில்ல சுற்றுச்சுவர் எல்லாம் இருந்துச்சு, அந்த சுற்றுச்சுவர்லாம் சுத்தமா இல்லாமலே போயிடுச்சு.
40-50 வருஷத்துக்கு முன்னாடி ஐம்பொன் சிலை திருட்டு போயிடுச்சு.
முன்னாடி ராஜராஜன் சோழன் கட்டின கோயில் மாதிரியே தெரியல பாருங்க, ஒரே காடு, ஒரே பில்லு.
Well, if they had demolished the temples, people would have built it back. But they have chosen to suffocate the temples, slowly make them into nothing. In the year 2020, in the Madras High Court, the HR and CE ministry has submitted that they are not able to maintain even one puja or ritual per day in 11,999 temples, just one short of 12,000, because there is no revenue. 34,000 temples have less than 10,000 rupees income, not per month, per annum. 37,000 temples, they are not able to appoint more than one person to do whatever is needed in the temple. That means the same person does the puja, he is supposed to clean it, he is supposed to take care of the management and everything. It's time that the temples of Tamil Nadu come out of the clutches of the government and into the hands of responsible, competent and devout community.
கவர்மெண்ட்ல இருந்து செஞ்சு தாரேங்கிறாங்க, ஒன்னும் தர மாட்டேங்கிறாங்க.
இன்னைக்கும் ஒரு சீட்டு எழுதி நீங்களே பாருங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டாக்க நாங்க கட்டிடுவோம். கோயிலை நல்லபடியாக கொண்டு வரதுக்கு மக்கள் தயாராக இருக்கிறாங்க.
ராவா போல அழுதுகிட்டு இருக்கோம், பக்கத்தில் வேண்டி விரும்பி அதை வேண்டிக்கிட்டு தான் உட்காந்துருக்கோம். அவங்கெல்லாம் மத கோயில் பள்ளிவாசல்லாம் அவங்கள்ட்டே இருக்கிறதுனால அவங்களாம் நல்லா வச்சிருக்காங்க. இந்து கோயில் மட்டும் கவர்மெண்ட் வச்சிருக்கிறதுனால இது மாதிரி ஒன்றுமே பராமரிப்பு இல்லாமல் நிறைய கோயில் ஒரு கால பூஜை கிடையாது, ஒரு விளக்கறது கூட வழி இல்லாமல் இருக்குது. இந்த சாமி எங்களுக்கு வேணும், நாங்கள் ஒரு சின்ன தேவை பண்ணாலும் இதில் பண்ணுவோம். எங்களுக்கு வேணும் இந்த சாமி.
Please leave it to the devotee. We will manage it. If it's at the cost of our life, we will manage it. How to do it? The complexities of it. We will look at that later. First thing is, the government should show the intent that the temple should be managed by the community, not by the government, in my understanding of what is secular. Secular nation means a religion does not mess with the government and the government does not mess with the religion.
There is common sense, there is sense, and there is something beyond sense. With common sense, your survival process gets handled. You don't have to be brilliant, you just have common sense. You would survive pretty good. You could turn out quite street smart. Actually, if somebody very intelligent is walking down the street, let's say Albert Einstein is walking down the street, a street urchin can easily con him. Albert Einstein doesn't have the wily nature of the one who's walking the streets every day. Very easily you can deceive him. You may have enormous intelligence about something else. So, because the street kid has more common sense is restricted to a certain habitat. In that habitat it works. In another place your common sense doesn't work. You know, you heard the ISRO, they've sent a Mars probe now at 10% of the cost what NASA would do normally. Because it's all indigenous and they build it up in their own ways. So they were interviewing people to be taken in for a job in ISRO. Shankaran Pillai applied. He is very street smart, a lot of common sense. So the interviewer asked, which is closer, moon or Mumbai? They're in Bangalore. Shankaran Pillai looked up in the sky and I said, moon. He said, what? How do you say that? He said, well, I can see the moon, I can't see Mumbai. So, this kind of sense goes well in certain things. But if you want to transcend, you need a different kind of sense. This kind of sense is good on the survival mode. When you're in a survival mode on the street, this kind of sense works pretty good. If we try to go all over with this kind of sense, we'll become one big mess. So going beyond one's senses and knowing, why is it needed? It's not needed if you're thinking in terms of a need. If you're using the word need as whether it is necessary for my survival or not, it's not needed. But unfortunately, if you had come here as a chimpanzee, it's definitely not needed. But your tragedy is you have evolved into a human being, wanting to live like a chimpanzee. Doesn't work. That's the whole problem. Human intelligence and awareness has come to a place where it cannot limit itself to the ambit of survival, it has to. Look, now what we're doing as a solution for this problem is not a problem, it's a possibility. Every possibility, those who are not willing to take on the possibility, for them it seems like a problem. It's a phenomenal possibility, but most human beings are treating it like a problem. So how they're solving the problem is, raise the bar of survival, keep on raising it. What was your idea of survival 25 years ago? What was your idea of survival 15 years ago? What is your idea of survival today? It's raising the bar, isn't it? 2 meals a day was survival when you didn't have anything. If you had known that such a state, it's good to know those things. But now, maybe Mercedes is survival. In every different segment of society, survival has been raised to a place where billionaires are still struggling to survive among their community. Yes? I have had this opportunity at close quarters to see multi-billionaires, but they're still beggars. Every day, their mentality, their mindset is just that of a beggar who sits on the street and thinking, okay, what is today? How many more pennies can I gather? It's the same stuff. It's just the numbers have increased, but the experience of life is still the same. Because you raise the bar of survival. Now, your whole life, it doesn't matter what you do, still goes in survival. Everybody, I won't fix this for you. In your life, you must fix it. How much is survival? You must fix it somewhere, now. Not after 25 years when you get there, no. Now we must fix, this is my survival, then what do I want to do? My survival is taken care of, what is it that really matters to me in my life? Whatever that is. If we don't structure our lives like this, forever you will be fighting with phantoms. Why I'm saying you're fighting with phantoms is, in other countries, where the bar of survival has not been raised so high, people can change the course of their life when they wish. I find in the most affluent nation on the planet, everybody is enslaved for 30 years minimum. Their house loan is for 30 years, car loan is for 5 years, another thing is something, their insurance, this. They just fixed. Tomorrow morning if they find something really compelling that they want to do, they cannot do, they can only do it after 30 years. We did not come to affluence for this. The idea of affluence is you have the freedom to change the course of your life, do what you want to do. You don't have to be stuck with what you thought was the best thing when you were 20. At 20 you may think this is the best thing, at 40 the damn thing means nothing. If still the same things mean a lot to you, that means you're stuck. You're not growing, isn't it? A whole lot of people are stuck at 14, not even 20. Same things, still they're excited about somebody's body part, they're still very excited about… It's ridiculous. When you're 14, you were excited, I understand. When you're 45, 50, 60, you're still in the same bin. It's a tragic way to live, because essence of life is that we are able to explore as much as we can when we live here, to know and experience everything possible that is there in this life.
He said, it's better to walk alone than to walk with a fool. If you want, consciously you can evolve in this evening. There is no limit as to how a human being can become. This is something that every human being must do. Then coming together will be hugely rewarding. When Gautama, the Buddha, was asked, is it better to walk alone or in company? He said, it's better to walk alone than to walk with a fool. Well, that's him, not me. He was quite sure that only a fool will walk with you. So he said, it's better to walk alone than to walk with a fool. Certain lore in this country says, when you want to do a short and quick journey, walk alone. When you want to do a long journey, walk in company. But the important thing is, who is walking with you? Not always being together is a good thing. Many times, being together can be a nuisance. So, first and foremost, unless you are a twin, even then, we come alone and we go alone. If one does not know how to be by himself or herself, then being together can be a lot of nuisance. We are referred to as human beings. Human beings means every other creature is what it is simply because of what it does. But a human being can simply be, which is a unique quality of the human being, that we can simply be, that we are not compulsive action, that's what it means. Our action is conscious and judicious. But generally, when people get together, people are in compulsive action. It can be an association where there could be a purposeful action, or it can be a gang where there can be more purposeful action, or it can be a crowd which can be a compulsive action. So essentially, to be human means we have reached that point of evolution within ourselves that if we wish, we can simply sit here, just be. We can consider as to what action to take and what not to take. This is definitely individual. When individuals come together, we say, it's we in plural, but still it is individuals who have to come together. To be an individual means you are not further divisible. That means you're just one. People find different ways to divide themselves within themselves. In India, with 8,000–10,000 years of cultural history, we have invented various words to divide ourselves. It's very common for people to talk in terms of Atma, Paramatma, Ahankara, this one and that one. But every culture has this in their own way. When things are going right, when good things are being done, if you ask people, they say, yes, I did. When things don't go right, when things go wrong, then they will try to find somebody. If they don't find anybody, he is always there. When they are very wonderful, of course they take pride in being how wonderful they are. When they turn nasty, they say, it was my ego. Mr. Ego is always a fall guy. So individual means, but if I'm wonderful, it's me. If I'm nasty, it's me, all of you. Are you 24 hours wonderful? Hello? Are you 24 hours wonderful? No, sometimes wonderful, sometimes nasty, sometimes beautiful, sometimes ugly. It's okay. If we understand it is me who is capable of being absolutely wonderful and it is me who is capable of being absolutely nasty another moment, then gradually the number of moments of nastiness will keep on receding. If I see what is wonderful is me, what is nasty is… In India we have many words, it's my karma, what can I do? Now, you must fix this. Being an individual is very important, that means you're not further divisible. If I'm wonderful, it's me, if I'm nasty, it's me. If I succeed, it's me, if I fail, it's me. You have to fix this. I'm just asking you a simple question. Within this, how many people? Hello? How many people within you? 1, 2, only one. If you're one, you're normal human being. If you're more than one, you're either schizophrenic or you're possessed. You either need a psychiatrist or an exorcist. But you will see whenever things don't go right, another guy will pop up from somewhere. So, becoming an individual means you killed all those pop-ups and just said, this is me. This what is me has many dimensions. If I don't see this as an individual, I cannot divide this further, then transformation will not happen. If transformation does not happen, if people come together in that state, there will be more mess than solutions. All creatures hang out together. Whether it is various wild creatures, most of them hang out together. Even monkeys who are just one step behind us, they are also in bunches. It is only human being who can sit alone and transform himself or herself, because this is the prerogative of being human, that we can simply be. This is why you are called human being, you're capable of being. You're not in a compulsive state of activity. If you want, consciously you can evolve. In this evening you can evolve, if you're willing. It doesn't take 1,000,000 years, because our evolution is not biological anymore, our evolution is conscious. For every other creature, it is fixed. Nature has fixed 2 lines within which every other creature lives and goes. But once you have come as a human being, there is only bottom line, there is no top line. There is no limit as to how a human being can become. So before we associate ourselves with people, it'll be good every day in the morning or a certain period of your life, if one withdraws to spend a little time with oneself and see how, in what ways can this be little better than the way it was yesterday, this life? How it can be a little better life than what it was yesterday? Because most people are coming together for their needs. To fulfill needs, people come together. Some people come together to fulfill a purpose or a cause. Some people come together to eat, drink and be together because they cannot be alone. This is something that every human being must do. A certain period of time, you do one thing, just 24 hours, take a break from everything, not today, right now you're among people. You take a break sometime, just 24 hours. And don't read, don't watch television, don't use the phone. Simply sit in your room, alert, not sleeping. And if you watch the nature of your mind, you yourself will certify, this is a madman. Because for most people, their mind cannot stay on any one thing. Unless they're in activity, simply they cannot be here. In compulsive state of psychological activity is on. When you are like this, you cannot be. That means you cannot be a human being. Being has to happen. Only then togetherness will be very rich. If you know how to be by yourself, then coming together will be hugely rewarding and of tremendous value. That means we came together consciously. $15,000 ago, a yogi appeared in the upper regions of Himalayas. Nobody knew where he came from. His antecedents were completely unknown. So people gathered around him because he was such a phenomenal presence. A large group of people gathered like this. They expected him to say something, do something. He did nothing, he said nothing, simply he sat. If I simply sat here for 2 hours, I can imagine. Within 15 minutes, those people in the last few rows, and they will slowly, still there's time for the cinema, let's go. If I said nothing for 2 hours, 90% of the people will be gone. If I said nothing for 6 hours, only a few hardcore ones will hang on, rest are all gone. Same happened to him. He said nothing, did nothing, simply sat still. Not for a day, not for a week, for months on end, he simply sat still. Everybody was expecting a miracle, nothing happened, he just sat. But they were missing a most fundamental miracle because the nature of your body is such right now, you're well attended to. You had lunch in the afternoon and maybe you snacked in the evening and so that you don't fall asleep, you had a coffee and maybe you have something in your bag. So many things. All these things are being attended to, so this is fine. Suppose we just make you sit here for 4 hours. Sadhguru, at least some water? Okay, drink water. After drinking water, can we just sit here, Sadhguru? That one? Okay, do that and come. Sadhguru, okay, if you give this, the next one, no permission. This'll just go. Or in other words, what you call as a body is a series of processes. Only if you're attending to them, it's fine. If you don't attend to it, then you see what a trouble it is. When you do not attend to the body, if you're hungry or why all that, people say, how long 1 minute is depends on which side of the bathroom door you are. From inside, somebody says just 1 minute. Outside, it's 1 eon. Okay? So because this is the nature of the body. If you do not attend to it, it'll become so compulsive and get you into such big trouble. But here he just sat. He neither ate, nor drank water, nor went to attend to nature's calls, simply he sat still. People could not even make out whether he's alive or dead. The only sign of life was, off and on, tears of ecstasy were dribbling down his cheeks, otherwise he simply sat unmoving. Then only 7 people hung on. They realized the miracle of him sitting here like this, because if he has to sit here like this, he has transcended physical nature, otherwise you cannot sit like this. These 7 people hung on. Today we celebrate these 7 people as the Sapta Rishis. These were his first disciples of the Adiyogi. So this Adiyogi just sat there, these 7 people showed interest. He told them, this is not for you, this is not entertainment. But They said, no, we're willing to do anything. He gave them a few preparatory steps. They prepared for many years. Then one day when the solstice was shifting, just now, we shifted from summer solstice to winter solstice on December 22nd. It'll again happen on June 21st, and this coming June 21st is significant for the world, because this is the day when Adiyogi first turned south and gave his teaching. Because the sun turned south, he turned south and started explaining the mechanics of being human. On this day, fortunately, the world, the United Nations has declared the World Yoga Day, because the yoga began on that day. This incredible process of exploring the human mechanics went into the process. This predates all religion. When there was no religion on the planet, 15,000 years ago, he went into the mechanics of what it means to be human. And various aspects happened. He opened up 112 different ways in which a human being can attain to his ultimate nature. And when people asked, especially his wife Parvati asked, why not more? Why only 112? Then he said, if you are rooted in the body, there are only 112 possibilities. If you transcend the body, how many atoms there are in this universe, that many doorways are there if you're willing to explore it. But if you're rooted in this body, there are only 112 ways, and the whole yogic system subscribes to this even today, because nobody has found more ways. Any number of yogis have explored in 1,000,000 different ways, but there is no other doorway. In this body, there are 112 ways into which you get there. So for this, how to generate this, how to make this work the way you want it. So this whole mechanics, he started, Adiyogi explored for many years, and he gave this elaborate knowledge to the world, and then asked these 7 people to go in 7 different directions in the world. One went to Central Asia, another went to North Africa, another went to South America, another went to Southeast Asia, one came down to what we call as the Indian part of Himalayas, one stayed with him, and one more, who is very important for us, Agastya Muni, came down south. He is known as the father of southern mysticism because he did not spare a single human habitation south of the Vindhyas. In the Deccan Plateau, he made sure every single human being who lived in this place had some sense of spiritual process.
So the title of this conversation, the subtitle of Conversation with a Mystic.
That's only for you. I'm not conversing with a mystic, so I'm at ease.
That's my job. That's my job. Got it. I know, and I have many questions, you know. Sadhguru said, I've never seen someone with so many questions. He said, no answers, only questions. I think the subtext, which I actually am talking about because I liked it, is an experiential, for today, an experiential symposium on optimal health and well-being. And I think there's a tremendous amount for us to talk about even in that phrase. One is the role of experience. And I will say that, you know, my office being responsible for cultural transformation, I've become obsessed with what is culture, and the definition that I use, because it guides our strategies, is behavior. This definition was given to me by Admiral Grossenbacher. Is behavior, either collective or individual behavior, based in experience and incentives. Meaning that if we're going to transform or shift what the medical model is today and what healthcare is today, we can't start with just the data. If people do not have an inner experience, not much will change. Can you say some about what you think the role of experience is in today and in healthcare?
So you need to understand this. largely for most human beings, experience is being kind of created and regulated by the way they think and feel. But what you think and what you feel need not necessarily have anything to do with reality as such. There is something called as a psychological reality and there is an existential reality. By controlling or handling the psychological reality well, a lot of people can become healthy, a lot, because for a lot of them that is the cause of their ailment. And it can also fix other things to some extent. So, like right now, Mitch was talking about, somebody prays and somebody creates a certain attitude around them of love and care and compassion. This is all psychological structure. You create a psychological structure with which you become open to certain dimensions of life. It becomes a possibility to transact in a certain way with least amount of friction and creates well-being. But there's an existential dimension to this. Existentially, what are you made of? What is the world made of? If you look at it, this is the most fundamental aspect of yoga. This is called as Bhuta Shuddhi. This means elemental, cleansing of the elemental nature. The whole universe is a manifestation of 5 elements. So is this body. Out of these 5, there are only 4 that you can really handle. Another one you just experience, it's the ambience for the other 4. So, the earth, water, fire, air and the space. So you only have to handle really 4. With 4 ingredients, so much magic and mischief is happening in the universe. If there were 4 million, we would be not able to handle it. 4 for sure we can handle, isn't it? 4 ingredients, if they're functioning the way you want them, then everything about you will be great. Out of these 4, 72% of your water, your body is actually water, so is the planet. The same composition of the planet you have in your body. About 12% is earth, about 6% is air, 4% is fire, the remaining is space. This is how it is looked at. If you master these 4, even if you have a bit of control over these 4, you will see miraculously you will generate health within the system. If you fail on this, then the next level of handling this is, nature has evolved certain things in the form of herbs and many things which are helpful to us, so we can learn to use them. If you fail in that, then you can create a psychological structure which will create health for you. If you fail in that, then you go for the chemical treatment. If you fail in that, then you go for a surgery.
That's the escalation.
Direct intervention of cutting something, putting something, if nothing else you're capable of doing. But now you're talking about a large-scale thing across the populations. We always think anything subtle cannot be done large-scale. I disagree with that, this is my opinion. Because it is just that we have not done enough work towards that and we assume that it's not possible. To create a certain sensitivity towards something and approach it in a subtle manner is possible, but it's only possible if it goes into every home, every parent, every man and woman in the world or in the country starts working towards it. When you want such a big goal to be achieved, it's not going to happen overnight. We must be willing to be committed for a whole generation or 2, then something will happen, something wonderful will happen. But right now, we are in today's world, everything has to happen by today evening. If it doesn't happen, tomorrow we dump it and have a new project going. So in that context, it will not happen. In that context, it's better we work towards a plastic heart and a plastic liver and a plastic kidney where we can start replacing them every 5 years and somehow function. See, health does not mean that just the medical parameters are okay. Health means you must feel a certain sense of wholeness. The word health itself comes from that word whole. A certain sense of wholeness, when you wake up in the morning, you are more alive than you are when you went to bed. You feel 10 years younger than the time when you went to bed. If you feel like that, that means you're healthy. It is just that all the tests are showing you're normal, that is still not normal. Because you have no experience of health. So when you say experience, Ultimately, we have come here only to experience life, isn't it? So we know that experience is the most important aspect of life. Now we're talking about the word experience in two different ways. One is our experience of life itself, how profound and how wonderful it is, or how nasty and how unpleasant it is. So the pleasantness that we generate in the body, we call this as health. Right now, that is the object of discussion, I don't want to go further, but the same pleasantness, if it hits a higher pitch, we call it pleasure. But if your mind becomes pleasant, you would call it peacefulness. If it becomes very pleasant, you would call it joyfulness. If your emotions become pleasant, you would call it love or affection. If it becomes very pleasant, you would call it compassion. If your very life energy, if you make it pleasant, we call it bliss. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. This is what a human being is seeking all the time. He wants pleasantness inside. Well, if your surroundings become pleasant, we call it success. This is what every human being is looking for all the time. There is a whole science as to how to create the inner pleasantness. External pleasantness needs cooperation from many people. It's not just yours, the other stakeholders who may want to make it nasty for you It needs many people's cooperation. But inner pleasantness is 100% yours. But why have we not strived for it? We have not strived for it because generally we have spread this message, it is not possible unless everything in the universe is fixed. When I first came to United States, one word I was hearing everywhere is stress management. I could not understand this because in my mind, we manage things which are precious to us. Our family, our wealth, our business and whatever else which is valuable to us. Why would anybody want to manage stress? Is something I couldn't get for some time It is just because we've spread the idea that stress is a part of your life. Stress is not a part of your life. Stress is not because of your job. Stress is simply because you do not know how to manage your own system.
What you just watched wasn't just a video, it was a presence exercise. If you stayed until now, it shows something in you is more awake. Comment on what stayed with you, what message hit you hardest, and share this with someone who also values this kind of conversation. Thanks, a big hug, and see you in the next video.